folks, good morning. Andrew Rogers here for TST Total Sports Talk. Thank you very much for joining me on this Monday morning. It was a busy weekend in the sports world, so let's just get straight to it. Glad to be with you as always, and thank you very much for tuning in. We're going to start over in the IIHF World Hockey Championship. Hockey Canada moved to 2-0 on the program in this year's tournament with a big 7-2 win yesterday at Slovenia. The tournament, of course, is being held in France and in Germany. They moved to 2-0 on the tournament. Like I say, big wins over the weekend. We had victories over the Czech Republic and Slovenia. As mentioned, Nate McKinnon was huge yesterday with 3 goals, hat trick for the Canadians. Tyson Barrie with a goal and 3 assists. He leads all scorers in the tournament in scoring. He's been just absolutely incredible. Chad Johnson started yesterday. Calvin Pickard with the first game. The team is at it again today against Belarus. This game's at 10:15 in the morning on TSN. It's expected that Calvin Pickard will get the start for the Canadians in that one. They're off to a great start, though, in the tournament. They're playing really, really well. Switching over now to the OHL Championship Series. We got a 2-0 lead there for the Erie Otters after 2 wins in Game 1 and 2. Alex DeBrincat continues to look like an absolute beast, a man amongst men. He's just absolutely incredible. For a guy who's 5'8", he's of course a Chicago Blackhawks prospect. He scored 2 more goals in game number 2. Between him and Warren Fogle, this team is really looking. These guys are really making the Otters look fantastic. Warren Fogle, of course, scored his 10th, and Alex DeBrincat had his 11th. Those came 50 seconds apart at the end of the third period. It was good because Mississauga would end up scoring with about 21 seconds left in the third period to make it interesting, but the Otters eventually holding on in that one, taking a 2-0 series lead. Now, they're at it again tonight. It's a back-to-back situation. They play again at Mississauga tonight. That game is at 7 p.m. for game number 3. Mississauga Steelheads will look to get on the scoreboard essentially in this series and try and take a game from the Erie Otters, or else it could be looking at a clean sweep. Now, switching over to the Major League Baseball scene, the Toronto Blue Jays won another series. Believe it or not, they defeated the Tampa Bay Rays 2-1. The big story in this one was the start of Joe Biagini. Boy, did he look really good coming in. And making a spot start out of the bullpen for the Toronto Blue Jays. It was his first major league start after 75 or so relief appearances throughout his career. And boy, did he look sharp. He went 4 innings. He was on a pitch count. He threw 52 pitches, allowed 4 hits, had given up a run, but it was unearned due to an error from the second baseman, Devin Travis. And unfortunately, like I say, unfortunately he couldn't go 5 and get the win, but it was a Darwin Barney home run in the 8th that broke a 1-1 tie. Jays come out the victors in that one. At 11:20, the Jays are next in action tonight. They open up a 3-game set at the Rogers Center against the Cleveland Indians. For those of you who don't know, yes, that does mark the return of one Edwin Encarnacion. He comes back to the Rogers Center for the first time since signing as a free agent in Cleveland last summer. It'll be interesting to see what kind of ovation he gets if he does get one. It'll be interesting to see what the crowd does once they announce Edwin's name for the first time and he comes up to make his first plate appearance. It'll be really interesting for sure. As a casual Jays follower, I wouldn't be surprised if Edwin hits 8 home runs in the 3-game set. I'm just saying, it's possible. This guy, all he did was mash home runs when he was in Toronto and at the Rogers Center. So it'll be really interesting to see if he does the same in this 3-game set in Toronto. For game number 1 of this series, it's at 7:07 over on Sportsnet 1. It will be Trevor Bauer going up against Marcus Stroman in the opening of that one. Switching over last night to the NBA action. Unfortunately, the Toronto Raptors season, Jurassic Park, all of that came to a crashing halt at the hands of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Unfortunately, they had to play them in the second round, yes. Unfortunately, LeBron James is a god that is in another world when it comes to the basketball world. He is just on a whole different playing field. And unfortunately, what it came down to in this one, I believe, is LeBron James was too good, and the Toronto Raptors did not have enough balance to counter LeBron James. I mean, Kyle Lowry was played really well in games 1 and 2, but unfortunately couldn't go in games 3 or 4. Having to rely on DeMar DeRozan solely, did not get enough support from the rest of the lineup. And LeBron was just too much to overcome on his own. LeBron is dominant in the playoffs. We know this. If the Cavs miraculously make it to the finals of the NBA, they will make it for the 7th. LeBron will make his 7th consecutive NBA finals. It's unbelievable, the stats. The Cavs, they've swept through the playoffs so far, sweeping the Indiana Pacers and now the Toronto Raptors. They will wait the winner of the Boston Celtics Washington Wizards. Washington Wizards winning last night. Brandon Beal and John Wall combined for 56 points as the Wizards use a 26-0 run in the game to even the series at 2 with a 121-102 victory over the Boston Celtics. They did a very good job also neutralizing Isaiah Thomas. He's been absolutely incredible in these playoffs so far. So that series is now tied at 2. It could go a little while. So Cavs, a little bit more rest like they need it. Over on to the west side, it was James Harden leading the way for the Houston Rockets. And as he scored 28 points, the Rockets thumped the Spurs 125-104. That series is now also tied at 2 over in the west. NBA action tonight has one game on the schedule. It's the Golden State Warriors looking to also sweep their way through to the 3rd round of the NBA playoffs. On the west side, they currently lead the Utah Jazz 3-0. Game 4 goes tonight at 9 p.m. in Utah. And finally, the NHL scene. So here's what we know according to, after the weekend and all the dust is settled. The Ottawa Senators got a late goal in the 3rd period from Derek Brassard, and Kyle Turris won it in overtime, provided the winner at 6:28 of OT, as the Sens lead the Rangers now 3-2. Game 6 doesn't go at Madison Square Garden until Tuesday night, so wait for that one. The Nashville Predators advanced to their first ever Western Conference Championship final in team history. Congratulations to Nashville. They defeated the St. Louis Blues 3-1 last night. Just an absolute great effort. The Nashville Predators are unbelievable. They've only lost 2 games in these playoffs so far through 10 games that they've played, sweeping the Chicago Blackhawks in the first round, now defeating the St. Louis Blues in 6 games. Pekka Rinne has been absolutely incredible in these playoffs. He was incredible again last night, making 23 saves in the win. They will face the winner of the Ducks Oilers, which has been an absolutely incredible series. If you haven't been watching this series, you've really been missing out on what is the NHL playoffs. You know what? It's going to be our first Game 7. After all these rounds, it's our first Game 7 that we'll be seeing in this year's playoffs. Normally, they're just a formality, but in this one, it seems more surprising given the matchups. Oilers and Ducks will go to a Game 7. The Oilers made sure there was going to be no controversy in this one. They defeated the Anaheim Ducks 7-1 in Edmonton last night for game number 6. Leon Draisaitl with 5 points, 3 goals, and 2 assists was an absolute beast. He has been nothing short of incredible in these playoffs. It's incredible that we're talking about somebody other than Connor McDavid leading the charge for the Oilers, but he's been absolutely incredible. A 7-1 victory for the Edmonton Oilers has to feel nice also for Cam Talbot, the goalie for the Edmonton Oilers, not having to be the savior in this one. And hopefully he'll be revved up again to go in game number 7. It'll be back in Anaheim Wednesday night. And finally, the NHL will feature one playoff game tonight. It's the Washington Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins in game number 6 in Pittsburgh. Washington trying to stave off elimination for a second straight game as they defeated Pittsburgh 4-2 in game number 6 on Saturday. You also saw the return of Sidney Crosby in that one. It's just unbelievable. The guy gets knocked out with a concussion. It's reported as a concussion. Only misses one game. He comes back with a vengeance and looks like he didn't even miss a beat. It's incredible what they can do with protocols nowadays. 4-2. So 4-2 win for Washington in game number 6. Though they scored 2 they scored 3 times in the third period, 2 in a matter of 27 seconds. Evgeny Kuznetsov with his 5th, Alex Ovechkin with his 5th. So game number 6 goes tonight in Pittsburgh. It's at 7:30 over on Sportsnet. Andrew Rogers here for TST, Total Sports Talk, reminding you to keep your head up and keep your stick on the ice. Keep watching, folks, and we'll be back with you again tomorrow morning. Have a nice Monday.